Hi there, everybody. Your Bible passage today is beautiful. The Apostle Paul is writing a letter to the church he founded in Corinth. It's his first letter to the Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And it tells you all the grand qualities of love. And the hymn is just a closer walk with thee. Grant it, Jesus, if you please, daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. We are weak, but thou art strong. Jesus, keep us from all wrong. We'll be satisfied as long as we walk. Let us walk with thee. And the vocabulary word is advise. What does advise mean? It means to recommend a course of action. What course of action do you recommend? What course of action do you recommend? And the joke is, the man came running home from work and he says, honey, I'm going to lose my job. The company has found something that will do the work of 5 men. And she said, 1 woman? "11 people were very happy and in wonder that a chat with Glendora has reached 14,000 shows. And they are the viewers, and they find value in them, but not enough. Remember that selfishness, which is the same as egotism, which is the same as me first, it doesn't exist. It's a fake. It's a fraud. We go to the altar of selfishness and we put down our most precious jewels, our most precious possessions, which are life, energy, time. And we're standing there looking at the altar. And the wind comes up and it blows away the curtain. And there's nothing there behind the curtain. There's nobody there. But the life, the time, and the energy are all taken. It's a fraud. Don't you ever think of it. All right. If you want to believe in the devil, okay. I do not. There is only one power, and that power is God, love. There's only one power, and that's the power of God. So just don't think about the other one. Just don't give it any time. Don't give it any life.
The time is 8:00 a.m.
Don't give it any energy. Thank you, Bong Bong. Spend your time over here helping others. Did you take the $40 to the library to give to the woman in case she ever came back, whose husband died, and she needed money to make copies of jobs available? Yep, we did. Did you send out a book yesterday? Yes, we did. Christian Science with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy. Read the last 100 pages about people who were healed, who had miserable lives in bed with pain and sickness, and the doctors gave up on them in misery, and they were healed. And it makes you feel so good all over. Where did you send that book yesterday? To Arizona, to Mindy. Did you make her pay for it? No. Did you make her pay the postage? No. Just the fact that she will be happy by it and that she will be healed. Hoping. So you go over here and you do good things for people, such as we just mentioned, and you give love, and you're satisfied and you're fulfilled because you're doing what is right, and you learn the truth. What is the truth? That God is love. You've always wanted a relationship with God, now you have it. God is love. And you know the substance of God. How? Well, God is love. If you know what love is, you know what God is. And you know what love is. Ever since you've been in your mother's arms, you've known what love is. So now you know what love is. You know what God is. And you know what the substance of God is. That's all you think about. You don't think about self. Glendora, whom are you talking to? You're talking to somebody else. Glendora, you're really talking to yourself. All right. Then use the first person plural, we. And next we learn that we can't be separated from God. And we make believe we have a model. We make believe that this is a human being or a dog. And we take a cell away from that body. Is that cell going to live over here all by itself as a cell? No. No, it isn't. So we have the wholeness of God. That we are whole with God. We cannot live apart from God. Why would you want to? Why would we want to? That's where all the fun is. It's not over into the success and money and wealth and fame and popularity that selfishness promises and can't deliver and doesn't exist. No. It's not over here in that fake stuff. It's over here in loving. So that's the wholeness in God, and then the next thing the wholeness of God, and the next thing that we learn is the allness of God. There isn't anything else but God. Do you believe there's any other force or power besides God? There is not. God is the only power. God is all there is. And since God is all there is, and since you're here, we all have to be some of God. If God is all there is, then we have to be some of God. And that means that we are spiritual. Because God is spiritual. Why is God spiritual? Because God is love. And love is a spirit. It's a spirit. I think it's like electromagnetic waves. I think it's like light and heat and radio waves. I think it's some of the electromagnetic spectrum, or it's in it, or it is in us, or whatever. Anyway, you have the wholeness of God, the oneness of God, the allness of God. Then you find out you're not only one with God, but you're one with everybody else. We are one with everybody else. We are all one together. And I don't think we're separated. I don't think we're separate pieces going off in all different directions. I think that we're continuous. And then we find that an area of God, such as you are, you're an area of God, you're not a part, you're not a piece, you're an area. And we all have different sets of talents. And that's because we all have a different job to do for the universe. Then we all find out that we have the same overall job to do for the universe, and that's to make it go and grow and glow. And we've been doing this. We and all of our people who came before us, all of our brothers and sisters now, all over, everywhere. Our job is to make the universe better. And mightily it gets better every minute and every hour. Look at all of the grand accomplishments we, the universe, all of us together, one, have made in the past 4 billion years. Look at them. And then we learn about the goodness of God. What do we have now? We have the truth. Love is God. God is love. We have the wholeness, the oneness, the onlyness. Oh, the goodness. The goodness of love. We call God by another name of God, which is love. The goodness of love. What good it does. It will heal you. If you're having any trouble, the goodness of love will heal you. And since love, God, is all there is, then everything is good. And you make everything good because you count pure thoughts, and you pray without ceasing, and you don't think about selfishness, and you don't serve it. It's a nothing. And then a couple of other things. Never lie, steal, or cheat. A piece of your consciousness is never worth that. A piece of your conscience is never worth that. It just isn't worth it. There's nothing more precious than your conscience, your soul, your spirit, your mind. Mind, soul, spirit, conscience, thought. And be vegan. Being vegan means being kind. You don't hurt little animals. You don't hurt others. You don't have dominion over them. You're not the big boss. It's not dominion. It's stewardship. You take care of them, and they take care of you. And don't you forget all the other things that take care of you. I think they're all made out of thought myself. Somehow or other, love, thought, turns into electromagnetic waves, and electromagnetic waves turn into particles, and particles turn into elementary particles, all the way up. We're a long, long, long ways from finding the most basic. We're only up to quarks and bosons. We have a long ways to go until we get to the hydrogen atom, and then carbon and oxygen, and they get together. And they get together with light and heat, and they make life. Life. Let's go into that someday, the miracle of life, and the difference between life and no life. The difference between a New York, New England, Macintosh, Apple, and a rock. So you go vegan. You're kind. You're good to those little animals. And you don't pay your money for their cruelty and their agony. The cruelty that comes to them and the agony that comes to them. The torture. The robbing of their lives. Okie doke. It's endearing to watch Amy Dymond read the encyclopedia, the World Book Encyclopedia. And she reads it, and she says, 450 ponies? That's a lot of ponies. Wow. And then she comes on to something else. And then something else. And the creativity of God and the creativity of all of us together. And then she reads a number, and then she say, wow, that's a lot of so-and-so. It's quite a joy to hear her read the World Book Encyclopedia. Where are you in it, Glendora? We're up to the page 600s in volume M. No, in volume P is in Paul. So we have to read the 600s, 700s, and 800s. That'll finish volume P. And then over into Compton's, we're on 200 pages of volume S, as in Sam. And there's one more volume of that, T as in Tom and U. And one more volume of the World Book, WXYZ, and then we will finish reading an entire set of encyclopediae, A to Z. Why? Because it's about God's creativity. Why? Because that's so fascinating. Why? Because it makes you feel good that we're all some of God and we have such a great universe. The museum, so much work has to be done on that to preserve the Glendora Franklin Pro Se public access newspaper record. So much has to be done on that. Okie dokie.